Our Greek verse for the week comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, and verse 3. Anthon hosa en te scotia epete. As many things, instead of which, as many things as you spoke in the darkness, and forgive me for the you, I wanted to get it all in one line, but I trust you'll forgive me. So we start off with instead of which, or by contrast, on the other hand, so anti means instead of, and hone is the relative pronoun. A relative pronoun is basically a noun ending without a word with a rough breathing mark. And so own is a genitive plural, and then the rough breathing mark, it's a who or a which or that. So hone, relative pronoun. So the anti there's some phonetics going on here. We tend to talk, in common speech, we make shortcuts. And so this is just normal processes of what happens in language, where we contract words and things like that. It happens. So first of all, anti-own, if we're anti-own, the E and the O, you have to give a little bit of a breath space. Anti-own, you have to stop slightly in order to get from one vowel to the next. And so what happened in Greek is that a lot of times a preposition that ended in a vowel would drop that vowel before the vowel of the next letter. So the iota goes on vacation, and then it's antone, then it's antone, which is easier to say. Now, it's a rough breathing mark. And so the tau also aspirates, it goes breathy. So anthone is just easier to say than anti-own. And so that's the way language works. We seek the easiest way to say things over time. Nobody plans it out. It's just what happens phonetically. So anthone, instead of which, as many things as you spoke in the darkness, hosa is called a correlative. It's a if this, then this. It's not exactly a condition, but it's kind of similar. As many things as you spoke in the darkness, the light will be heard. And so there's a kind of a correlation between the one and the other. So we call this a correlative. So neuter plural alpha, bingo, because we're saying as many things as you spoke in the darkness. Ente scotia, that's feminine dative singular there. Apete, it's aping an aorist. So ape is the aorist, irregular aorist stem of Lego. We have a short vowel, so it's indicative. We have te, second person plural active. Put it all together, and you get aorist active indicative second plural from Lego. As many things as you spoke in the darkness. And what about those things you spoke in the darkness? There's those things you said at the water cooler, those jokes you said in the corner. What about them? Entofoti akoustesetai. In the light, it will be heard. God knows everything. Hebrews 4, the whole creation is naked and exposed to him. Nobody's getting by with anything. God knows our inner thoughts. Character is what you do when no one's looking. God knows. And so, by contrast, as many things as you spoke in the darkness, in the light will be heard. Entofoti, photos, it's a neuter word. So this is neuter singular dative, the subscript hanging on for dear life. You notice this is a dative singular, often has little iota subscripts hanging on for dear life. Photis third declension, so it doesn't do a subscript, but there's the iota, it's there. Iota is a possible sign of a dative singular. Akoustesetai, so tai is usually it's a third person singular ending. The epsilon is a short vowel, so again, I'm thinking it's indicative. Sigma has me thinking future. Theta eta has me thinking passive. In fact, theta eta sigma is a clue that you're possibly looking at a future passive. So what we have here is a future passive indicative, third singular from akouo. It, because it's third singular. Will, because it's future. Be, because it's aorist, theta eta, and then heard because it's akouo. So as many things as you spoke in the darkness, in the light will be heard. Kai ho to prosto us, and what to the ears you spoke. So this is accusative neuter singular. Could have been nominative because the neuter always looks the same in the nominative and the accusative, but it is accusative because the subject is the you of Elah elalesate, you spoke. What to the ears you spoke in the inner chambers. So you're like, well, I won't tell this in public. Don't tell anybody, but blah, 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 blah. Again, none of that, all of that comes out. The tapes come out in the judgment. So what to the ears you spoke in the inner chambers, this is another kind of correlation, will be preached, on the rooftops. Okay, so this is accusative singular. The article never lies, so I know this is accusative neuter singular. What to the ear shouldn't be ears. Man, I'm struggling today. By the way, this does look like the masculine article the, right? Ho. But the accent, again, the accent is what tells me that this is not the word the. This is the relative pronoun what. And so the accent's what gives it away. So it is neuter accusative singular from hos. And what to the ear you spoke, sigma alpha has me thinking aorist, te has me thinking second plural. There's the augment confirming it's aorist, laleo, so it is aorist active indicative, second plural from laleo. And what to the ear you spoke in the closets, dative, I'm not quite sure whether it's masculine or neuter, because they both would have the same ending. I'm going to go with masculine as a guess. You can look it up on interlinearbible.org. But what you spoke in the closets will be preached on the rooftops. So karuk thesatai, entois atameois, karuk thesatai, epitone domaton. Okay, so theta eta sigma again tells me it's future passive. Epsilon tells me it's indicative. Tai tells me it's third singular, and this is keruso. Kerygma, to preach. Will be preached. Will because it's future. Be because it's passive, and preached because it's keruso. Epitone domaton. So this is a ma noun, which unlike my ma is neuter. This genitive plural on the housetops. All right, so putting it all together, here's what it says. By contrast, as many things as you spoke in the darkness will be heard in the light, and what you spoke to the ear in the inner chambers will be proclaimed upon the housetops. In other words, there is nothing that we're not going to get away with anything. That our true heart, our true intention, our true identity will be known in the end, and is known by God even now. Well, this has been the Greek for the week.